Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Do I have any sound yet or no? Hey, Scott, how are you? All right, James. Yeah, understand. Oh, yeah, I know. We're still figuring it out. That's a good question. I'm thinking about it. Probably up here. Why don't you put it by the Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to be getting started with lighting up some Hanukkah candles. So we're going to start over at the tables first, and then we'll come back and sit down. If you want to come join us over there, if you brought your Chanukiah, let's get it loaded up with candles, and we'll be underway.
We're going over it. Whatever you want. Okay.
Thank you.
Our granddaughter, early on, just a fling of it, I would take my watch. She loved to grab it and like play with me, like, how long am I gonna enjoy, right? So then we started doing suspenders. And so I just did strange boy, put a smile on his face. Really, anything having to do with Dorian.
Give you my tissue. How much do you love me? How much do you love me?
No, that's my clean tissue. This is the dirty tissue pocket.
Look at all those lights.
Aw, looks so pretty. Perfect. This is too low.
That they moved. Yes. To here. That's not it. To this thing. I don't like. It used to be like. It used to be like.
After you've lit your Hanukkah candles, come and take a seat. Get settled. Make yourselves comfortable. Revel in the light and love of Shabbat and Hanukkah. Rabbi Jay ran back to his study to get a thing. I don't know what the thing is. But we'll begin with a little bit of music.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Light is returning. That's the goal. They keep taking it from us. The world keeps shocking us into darkness, but we refuse. We fight our way back into the light, and we insist on being the light to the world. That has been our lot in history. It remains that way today. And so we're happy to have you here to bring additional light into the room, whether you're with us in person or virtually. We hope that you're enjoying a beautiful, warm, healthy beginning to a festival of lights, and that you see yourselves as being, each one of you, a light that we insist on holding on to and bringing into the world. And so we'll continue right on into the service this evening with thank you.
The Hanukkah candle
With the
blessing.
Hanukkah blessings, right? So folks at home were not with us. They couldn't hear when we were lighting our Chanukiot over there. So we're going to come on up on the bima and light up the Hanukkah candles. Ed, you want to come help us with the Hanukkah candles? And Edith, the Shabbos candles as we continue from there?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehalit ner shel Chanukah. Baruch
Shabbat Shalom and a happy Hanukkah.
Shabbat. Shabbat.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Can you put my parents on? Can you send them log in? Can you send my parents to log in? Because they can't get on. They're looking at they're looking at a service from
Light one candle for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die.
Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we needed to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in. Let anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together with peace as the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep alive in that flame?
What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail.
This is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is what we will not fail. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Let us hear you. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears again. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out.
Ele Hamda Libi. Is my mic on?
Yes,
Are
you're
you
on.
getting me a little bit? Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay. Ele Hamda Libi is this beautiful expression of strength and hope and engagement. Lean into the messages of the prayers this evening. Let it warm your soul the way the room has warmed your body. Let it just work its magic on you.
Elech Hamda Libi. Elech Hamda Libi. Elech Hamda Libi. Elech Hamda Libi. Elech don't you hide yourself. I'm standing here in need. Oh, don't you hide yourself. Elohim Dalibi. 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 Elohim Dalibi.
There was a loss to the Jewish people yesterday that made waves through the entirety, not just of the progressive Jewish world, but the reach of Rabbi David Ellenson was significant and deep. He was the Rosh Yeshiva, the head of Hebrew Union College during the years that Cantor Micah and I went through. Which means he was Betsy's boss for a number of years, and he was, where's Wind? Wind was at HUC also, there you are, under certain years there with him too, right? He's been, he stepped, yeah. He was what I would call a gadol. He was one of our greats. He was an intellect and a neshama. He was a teddy bear and a fierce defender of all things right. And as we were just singing Elohim Dalibi, I was just thinking about the way in which he made every person feel seen and loved and cared for, and taught so many of us how to be Klei Kodesh, clergy people. And so I'm just thinking about him a lot this evening. He'll be laid to rest on Sunday morning in a service at Rodef Shalom in New York City. But in the meantime, I am sort of in my mind dedicating my worship this evening, my joy and the love I'm trying to create in his honor and memory. And I'm feeling grateful for men like him and women like him who teach us how to be the best that we can. So, with him in mind, I turn now to Shalom Aleichem and just imagine the ability to make others feel shalom.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharet, Malachei Elyon, Min Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharet, Malachei Elyon, Min Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yalalai, 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 Yalalai. You know these words, Yalalai, Yalalai. Ya la ya la 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 ya la la la. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Min Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Min Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ya la la ya la ya la la ya la ya la la. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la. Vachuni Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Min Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Vachuni Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Min Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la. Seichem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Min Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Everyone together, yalla yalla la, yalla yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la la, yalla la, yalla yalla la, yalla yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la 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 la, yalla yalla la, yalla yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la 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 la, yalla yalla la, yalla yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la la.
And moving on into that essential question, are you really here? I see that your body is. I know that online you're sitting there and the sound is hitting you, but your eyes are open. Are you really awake? Are you really prepared for doing this? We have to ask the questions to be able to provide the answers. So if you're able, would you please be upstanding?
Understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla la la la, 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 yalla la la, yalla la la la, yalla la la la.
To an elementary school in Norwalk a few days ago, 2 days ago, and I told them some stories. I gave them the rudiments of Hanukkah, and we eventually got around to playing some dreidel and eating gelt and having a blast. But one of the stories I told them was about the king who offered a contest to his 3 children to see who could succeed him. And his first son came up with a solution to the problem. The second son came up with a solution to the problem. The third child, a daughter, came up with a solution that just blew everyone away. The challenge was, how can you fill up this space completely? The first son was so strong, he used big rocks to fill up it was a hut. The second son said, I can get it fuller than that. Clever this guy was. And he filled in all the spaces between the boulders with sand. And the daughter was such a beautiful neshama. And she said, clear all this stuff out. And she put one candle in the middle of the hut so that the light filled every corner of the hut. It was so completely full of light that her father knew that she was the right one to succeed him as queen. The power of one candle is impossible to overstate. One candle can kindle a forest fire if you're looking for devastation, or it can kindle a small cooking fire if you're looking to feed humans. It can destroy, it can keep alive. It can nourish, or it can burn. One flame has so much potential, you just have to decide what to do with it. So close your eyes for Shema. Imagine the ner inside you. Ner Adonai Nishmat Adam. The candle of God is the soul of a human, dancing around inside like that as yet undecided use of flame. Is it going to be used for love or hate? Is it going to be used to bring together or separate? Is it going to be used to build or to burn down? This is a moment where we get to decide what is the use of that ner inside each of us.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Mahuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
You can be settled.
And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
I promise this is not my drosh, but I'm just going to make a quick comment about Mi Chamocha, because I learned something yesterday with my chavruta about how Joseph needed to go through the trials of time in Egypt to have grown mature enough to fulfill the role he needed to play down the road with his family. It's a beautiful commentary on how trial by or rather growth by trial, I'll say it that way, is in some cases necessary. And I have had a lot of parents, and I'll talk about this again in a few minutes, a lot of parents recently talking to me about their children who are in classes where they're the only Jewish kid there and feeling a little lonely or isolated. Sometimes it's worse than that. And when it's the right moment, I can have the conversation with them about how sometimes it is feeling like the only one, that struggle, that loneliness, which is the strengthening element of growth by trial. And so not all difficulties are all bad. So as we sing Mi Chamocha and lead that into Ma'oz Tzur, maybe we just remember the fact that hard times sometimes yield us silver, well, in our family we say silver outlinings. Sometimes they give you silver outlinings.
So what was it? What was the other one? There was another Hanukkah tune hidden in there.
Who can we say then? Who can?
Me and Malel Gvorot Yisrael.
Yeah, couldn't
Me and
remember.
Malel. It was a twofer.
I only know the English version of that one as well.
Well, the story of Hanukkah, the one from the Talmud, from the, I guess not Tanakh, but from the biblical era, is one of war. It's one of military conquest. The story of the oil was created much, much later. What if we could get past those stories of war to avenge ourselves and to break their swords with might, and we could get to a place where we could sing more about love than war? Hashkivenu, in this setting from Noah Aronson, allows us to imagine that time.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, leShalom. Lehamidenu, Shamreinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Hashkivenu, leShalom. Hashkivenu, let there be love. Hashkivenu, understanding among us. Eloheinu, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, understanding among us. Eloheinu, let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
You hear the whistle of the wind?
It's the coffee maker.
Why do you gotta be like that?
Just being honest. Sorry.
I hear the whistle of wind. Yeah, Larry does too. So if you want love and friendship to be the shelter from life's storms, you got to work for it. Vishamru reminds us that it doesn't just come out of nowhere. You got to be the ones who guard that which is important. You have to speak up. You have to make sure that others know how valuable it is. In this case, we're talking about Shabbat, but we could just as well be talking about anything else that is of value in your lives. You gotta stand up and be counted. You got to be heard, and you got to make it matter. You have to be the shomrim that guard that which is precious.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית העולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית העולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית העולם.
כי ששת ימים, כי ששת ימים, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית העולם.
וביום השביעי שבת ונפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית העולם. לדורתם ברית העולם.
We're going to rise in a moment for the beginning of the Amidah. And after we do the Zimun, we're actually going to go right to Al-Hanisim, which is the piece that would liturgically properly go a few blessings in. But we're going to go to Al-Hanisim, which is only added at the 2 liturgical moments of the year. Who knows what they are? Anyone? Hanukkah and, thank you,
Good guess.
Purim.
Purim.
Purim. Right, Purim. The 2 times that we talk about real shocking things going in our favor, things we had no reasonable right to expect would work out the way they did. And without having to see a sea split in 2, a supernatural demonstration of miracle, they are the more attainable miracles, the things that you wouldn't think would go the way they do. Last Sunday, when the religious school kids came back for the first time after Thanksgiving, we talked about what they loved about their time off, and inevitably food was at the center of a lot of the expressions of joy. And so we gave thanks for the miracle of taste buds. You know, it's just more than you have the right to hope for. And anybody who's lost the sense of smell from COVID or any other reason and has had the experience of taste muted knows just how much we should be appreciative of things like the miracle of taste buds. So, we're going to be singing Al-Hanisim in just a moment about the miracles that were worked in the times of our ancestors and in these times too. It seems like a reasonable use of time for you to turn your attention inward during the silence that will follow that, and to just enumerate the miracles, the things that are just too remarkable to hope for, and yet you enjoy all the time. Don't let them go by without being appreciated this evening. Miracles everywhere you look. For now, would you please be upstanding? You can be settled. And let's take a few moments of reflection, maybe identifying and appreciating your miracles, maybe even your taste buds.
Light is returning, even though this is the darkest hour. No one can hold back the dawn.
Let's keep it burning. Let's keep the light of hope alive. Make safe our journey through the storm.
One planet is turning, circle on her path around the sun. Earth Mother is calling her children home.
Light is returning. Light is returning. Light is returning. Light is returning.
Light is returning. Light is returning. Light is returning. Light is returning.
Surah חושך על השחור. Surah מפני האור. Surah חושך על השחור. Surah מפני האור. Surah חושך על השחור. Surah מפני האור. Surah חושך על השחור. Surah מפני האור.
Okay, now I'll have a little bit of a drush. The other day, I had a really funny little moment in my study. A congregant swung by the building. He was in the area, and he just thought I'd see if I was in. Don't do that, by the way, because I'm really busy, but I loved seeing him. And I happened to have a couple minutes before my next conversation, and so he came in and he sat down opposite me at my desk. And while we were chatting, he leaned forward, and I have a little business card holder that Julie made me in a pottery studio somewhere. And the cards kind of lean against the back of it. And he leaned forward, and while we were chatting, he just kind of straightened them. They were a little sloppy. And this was perfect. It was exactly who he is. And he saw me watching him do it, and then he got this big grin on his face, and I got a big grin on my face, and we had a good laugh about it. It's just, I know that about him. And we all have these little things about ourselves that make us tick. So I'm going to give you another little example of my own. Part of the danger of being taught something is now you know how to do it right. So at some point along my Jewish path, I was taught the proper way to light Hanukkah candles, which means the only thing that was happening for me while we were over there was I was judging all of you who were lighting them incorrectly. It's a really actually pretty complicated set of concepts that lead to the right way to light them. The shamus is supposed to do all the work, meaning not just light the other candles, but it's supposed to be the one that provides all the light by which you might do anything else. The 2 candles lit tonight for the miracle are only supposed to announce the miracle. If you're sitting nearby and reading a book, just in case you might have gotten a little light from those candles, we have the shamus there to claim that you were reading by its light, not the light of the other candles. So in our house, for example, when we've got 2 Chanukiot right there, and once you're done with lighting the candles, and you need to put the shamus back into the Chanukiah, and you need to melt the bottom, it gets quite complicated. How do you melt one without melting the other? Not using the candles themselves for anyway, point being, I pay way too much attention to those kinds of little, truly unimportant examples. And what does it do? It leads me towards judgment, not the prettiest side of Hanukkah lighting. So at least Musar has shown me fairly quickly that that's what I'm doing. And I can see myself saying, oh, look, she's doing it wrong. And fairly quickly get control of that energy, that attitude, and push it away, realizing that that's not the part of myself that wants to celebrate this moment. So I was at this kindergarten I was telling you about the other day, and hanging out with these little 5-year-olds, maybe they were 6, I don't know. Some of them looked like they must have been 2. They were so little. And there were 3 Jewish kids. One whose mother had asked me to come, another whose family is very likely to be joining Temple Sinai any day now because they've heard how awesome we are, and a third that I didn't know. And as I was telling the group the basics of Hanukkah, including a little bit of the stories, one of the little girls kept shouting out the answers before I could get there. And okay, looking back, I can see it was kind of sweet. In the moment, I wanted to wring the little kid's neck. But what was she doing? She was doing nothing different than what I just described to you about the candles. She had a little information, and information is power. And that felt really good to her. Now, what I found myself feeling as I'm telling these children the briefest, most sensitized version of the Maccabees is a feeling that I know very well. It's a perennial feeling I return to several times over the course of the year, but no more so than at Hanukkah, and that is a sense of discomfort in the way that I'm delivering our truth, our stories. Because the story of the Maccabees is a horrific story. It's awful, and not because of the violence that the Maccabees needed to perpetuate against the Greeks to recover our sacred sanctuary. There are historians who suggest that the Maccabees slaughtered far more Israelites than they did Greeks because they were zealots. They were extremists. They were fundamentalists who knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that their version of Judaism was right. And those who were not doing it correctly had no place in the Jewish people. And so we don't tell that part of the story. Instead, we tell the story about the brave Judah Maccabee who bravely took back from the Greeks what was ours. And we whitewash the story because these are 5-year-olds. And I know better than to go any deeper than that with 5-year-olds. And I know that by the time they're 14-year-olds, it's already probably a little late, particularly because so many of them have already gone on to their professional lives as soccer players or their emerging Olympic career as figure skaters, or you fill in the blank. But I know that we don't have the same kind of attention from 14, 15, 16-year-olds that we have from 5-year-olds. So where is that point that we can begin to tell truth to our little ones? How do we begin to migrate that story so that we can learn from it about the dangers of extremism, fundamentalism, absolute confidence in the truth of what we know we're right about? It's a really dangerous, slippery slope. The aspects of Hanukkah have again arisen as a timely challenge to us. The other little boy in the room on Thursday, I think, let's say Thursday, that I didn't know, shouted out something which was really beautiful. The girl who's probably going to join Temple Sinai soon, she raised her hand and said, "I'm the only Jewish kid in my class." And there were 3 kindergarten classes there and 3 Jewish kids that I was aware of. And as she finished saying that, I said, "Oh, that's the case for a lot of Jewish kids." And the boy, who I don't know, shouted out saying, "That's what makes me special." And I thought, how beautiful. How beautiful that, number one, his parents or what other influence he has have successfully elevated and taught him to hold in his value system as Rabbi Sachs would say, the dignity of difference. And I found myself nervous because it's not going to take much for someone to stomp out that sense of value in being different. Another little boy in our congregation, Larry and I were in communication this week with his parent, was experiencing just the opposite. Experiencing from a teacher and classmates a great sense of embarrassment and isolation and borderline shaming about being Jewish. And again, the Maccabees arise. So what I want to suggest, and this is, I guess this is a message you'll have to decide what to do with. But the Maccabees were just as bad in my mind as the teacher in this kid's classroom who makes him feel dumb for asking for Jewish songs along with all the Christmas music in class. And I'm going to put the Maccabees right alongside others out there who have communicated to us that we are doing it wrong. If there's any miracle at all in my mind, it is that there is still at least the illusion of one Jewish people. It might be an illusion, but it's one that we decide to hold on to for as long as we can. We have endless opportunities to split ourselves apart from each other. And we are no different than any other group of people that have lasted a long time as sects and divisions pull us apart from each other. We have withstood that tendency to divide ourselves, holding on to what we can. But it's such a frail bind that holds us. And you can see this in all kinds of ways. It happens on familial levels. I know a lot of families who are being really, really stretched right now on all kinds of poignant matters that you can imagine. It's true religiously. We're looking at the ways that some of our Jewish neighbors or family members do it very differently than we do, and it can be difficult to hold ourselves together. We're experiencing it nationally, of course, that's easy. We're even experiencing it globally as we just look at the different ways that we have to wrestle with really existentially important issues. And so I guess in this roundabout way, as I think about a little boy who's proud to be different from everyone around him and still feels that way, and I think about another little boy who's ashamed to be different and just wishes to be like everybody else because what he has unique about himself, his Jewishness, he can't see as valuable. We exist in that constant space. It would be easier to go the mainstream route, to put our heads down and pretend that we don't have something important to say. But that's never been our path. As Or Lagoyim, as lights to the nations, it is on our shoulders to speak up when we see the opportunity for unity and love and cooperation, and to speak up against those who would divide us and who would condemn us and who would belittle us, or frankly, belittle anyone else. We speak against those guys, whether they are Maccabees or Hamas or anyone else you see who is condemning and belittling and shaming others. That becomes, for me, the message of Hanukkah. And when we serve as those little lights that can send far more power out around us than you would think possible, just like a little candle in a hut, then we start to realize that we really are miracles. Every one of us, from our taste buds to our soul, we are walking miracles. So, let's go ahead and pray a little more. Let's offer some prayers of healing. I'm going to invite you to populate the room with the names of those who you're thinking of. Amitai, why don't you watch the chat box and see who adds in names over there from at home. Please do put your names in if you're watching us from home. But who are you thinking about tonight that can use a little added measure of light in a world that is slightly darkened for them these days?
Barry Levson.
Judy Poland, Joan Napier, Devin Moultrie, and Eddie Grossman.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to add my prayer to yours by sharing those names. Let's do it.
The ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
let's be upstanding for Aleinu. And we remember this Shabbat. As I mentioned, we have not even laid to rest yet Rabbi David Ellenson. So we'll be thinking about his family and all of those who have been so affected by having him in their lives. May his memory be a blessing. And this Shabbat, we're in the period of Shloshim for Bob Dorff and for Robert Bernstein, who's Brian Bernstein's father, and Elliot Jaffe, who is Roz Jaffe's husband, and Robert Eugene LaFontano, who's father of Heather Greif. And this Shabbat marks yahrzeits for Jenny Abramowitz, Rose Abramson, Pearl Bez, Karen Wynn Cohen, Murray Cohen, Alvin Dern, Ruth Edelstein, Stephen C. Fenster, Jack Fishman, Leon Fliegelman, Louis Gross, Jed Isaacs, Michelle Kramer, Joan Malkowski, Sidney Miller, Joan Elaine Morrison, Nancy Newman, Claudio Ortiz, Svetlana Rubenstein, Ruby Scharf, Dr. Nathan Schlesinger, Wendy Schwartz, Louis Silverstein, Henrietta Hecht Strauss, Evan Thaler, Sheldon Thaler, Leo Wernicke, William Wetzel, and Tier Wilbanks. Are there others saying Kaddish tonight? May their memories be blessings to those of us who are lucky to have them in our lives as we honor them with Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divarach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'yomechon Uchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei rabba mevorach le'olam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom
Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen.
May God send peace to the mourners in this world and give us the strength to serve as comforters of them as we say together, Amen. And you can be settled. Well, Shabbat Shalom. I'm glad to see some new faces and lots of regular, returning, friendly, familiar faces. It's nice to be together tonight. Got a couple of exciting things to share with you that are coming up. First of all, thank you to Barbara Kasman and Art Wernicke for sponsoring tonight's Oneg in memory of Elizabeth and Leo Wernicke. We're looking forward to enjoying your sweetness. Tomorrow morning, we've got Bible study at 9 a.m. That'll be hybrid. And then Musar is at 10:30. I don't think that's hybrid. We've got a family Havdalah celebration for Hanukkah tomorrow at 4 p.m. here. So if you've got little ones, this is for families with younger kids. So if you or your grandkids are in the area, whatever, and want to come on over, it's a great time to hang out, to have a little fun. We got some projects. We'll sing Havdalah and light some candles. It'll be a blast. There might even be some jelly donuts. There is religious school on Sunday morning, Harrison, so you got to show up for work. In pajamas, that's right. It's pajama day. That's exactly right. We are in the season of community Chanukiah lightings, and so there's lots of them going on all over the place. So pick your favorite one. There's one going on downtown with the mayor. I don't remember what night that is. Monday, maybe? It's Tuesday night? Okay. Well, don't go to that one, because on Tuesday night, you should come to Darien to be with Temple Sinai as we join our Darien families and light that central menorah there. And then on Wednesday, don't go to any other public ones, because you've got to come and join us in New Canaan as Temple Sinai and all of its New Canaan families join together for that lighting. These are always great nights. Often someone brings donuts or latkes, we sing songs. It's fabulous. So please do come join us. Next Friday, we've got Torah study at noon with Cantor. As always, that's virtual. And then an early service for families with young children. And next Friday is a 6 p.m. service. Oh man, it's not even on the save the date section anymore.
Uh-oh.
It's already up now on the list of things. So it's time to get tickets already for Cantor's concert. So if you don't have tickets, what possible excuse could you have? I cannot think of one. So if you don't, I'd like to speak with you after the service. Did I say this last week that I snuck in and I listened to Cantor rehearsing with, was that your full complement?
That was everybody, yep.
There were 6 or 5?
We're five
women's
vocalists and
voices.
Alex, yeah.
And it was one of those rare experiences that musically will raise goosebumps. I was so moved by what I was hearing. I am so excited for this year's concert. I'm always excited. I am at least as excited as ever, if not more. No, that's a compliment. So, any other announcements I need to make? Larry, did I forget anything? No, okay. Screwed up the announcements enough already? Okay, in that case, let's go ahead and close out the service. We're going to be singing Not by Might by Debbie Friedman, because we don't just need strength to make the world great.
And we want all of you to join us.
we all live in peace. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone, Ruach, shall we all live in peace. The children sing, the children dream, and the tears may fall, but we'll hear them call, and another song will rise, another song will rise, another song will rise. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone, Ruach, shall we all live in peace. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone, Ruach, shall we all live in peace. Not by might, not by power. Shalom.
One last time, would you be upstanding, please?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikraei kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-shabbat l'chaim.
And as if I had a challah in my hands,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avot.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone, Ruach, shall we all live in peace. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone, Ruach, shall we all live in peace. Not by might, not by power. Shalom.
Cha-cha-cha. Okay, so I didn't do the children sing part. I didn't get it right. And by the way, I got the first Al Hadisi.
I know this, that's okay. So I did the first